Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new installment of AV Veterans Talk. I'm your host, Bob Alvis, and this week we're speaking with Bob Abrams, Vietnam veteran and retired LAPD officer. Hey, we're here today with Bob Abrams. How you doing, Bob?
Fine. How you doing, Bob?
Very well. Beautiful day out, and I'm glad to see you found the place. And
Yes,
it's
I
all
did.
Good. Yes, you did. So you and I have been going to the same church now for probably
15, 20 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been out there on the corner of Quartz Hill doing the work of the Lord, I guess it's as we say. And but you're a vet and retired LAPD officer.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've served us in more ways. You've done the hat trick of service, spiritually, militarily, and wearing the blue, so I never thought of it that aspect. So maybe I should show you some more respect.
I think you should. Too.
I did stuff.
Yeah.
We just when I come into church on Sunday, I'll treat you different from now on out.
Sure.
Okay, all right, okay. That's not going to happen. So anyway, you've had an interesting journey. You obviously were United States Army. We'll get into that in a little bit here. I always like to get back to people and share their journey through life, and especially their military service and what they did, and get a reflection on current state of affairs and stuff. What you think militarily, looking at our nation today. But to start off with, I'd like to know: You grew up, if I remember right, weren't you a Valley guy down there?
Yeah.
Where'd you
I was
grow up?
born in San Francisco and raised in the San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
What years was that?
I graduated high school, Grover Cleveland High School in 63. So,
63. 63.
Yeah, that was a generation or two ago.
Gosh dang, now I'm feeling like the young punk, So anyway, 63.
Yeah.
You went to school down there. Your dad, what was your dad and family doing?
Dad worked at Rocketdyne, building what they call LOX, the liquid oxygen. It's like a fuel pump for a rocket engine. And was a lead man there. And I worked with him for about a year before I went in service, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. That was over in the West...
Canoga Park. The west end of the valley.
West end of the
Park.
valley over there and stuff,
Yeah.
So there is still facilities over there, I think.
Yeah, it's Norman. It's Rockwell now, I think.
Rockwell.
Or maybe something.
Boeing.
So.
I think it's Boeing now. But, so you worked there, and the whole time, is your family history service to military, or were you like the first?
Dad was in World War II. He was a latecomer. He was the first sergeant in charge of the ski troops.
Ski troops?
There was I think it's the 10th Mountain Brigade.
10th Mountain, yeah.
They were the beginning, right in the middle of World War II. They needed some pass taken over between Italy and Germany or someplace, but they trained an entire division in Colorado. And he was the first sergeant in charge of the troops in training.
Oh, wow.
Although he never got to combat because, like a night or two before they were supposed to deploy, he and my mom were walking on the sidewalk, and he got hit by a car and spun around, hit by another car and spun around up on the sidewalk. Never fell down.
Wow.
But the fact that he was injured to the point that he couldn't make it with the troops, so he ended up being in charge of a POW compound in Texas.
So, wow, that's a whole story.
That's a whole
You
story.
got a bunch of stories right there that are they're good information. So the POWs in where, Texas?
German POWs in Texas.
Does he ever share any of that experience with you?
Oh yeah. That my brother was born there. My older brother was born while they were in Texas, and the German prisoners just loved my older brother because when he was born, he had blonde hair.
Oh.
And he looked like a little German baby. So they just spoiled him rotten, made him toys out of wood.
Oh, man.
They were very fortunate to have been sent to America as prisoners of war.
Yeah,
prisoners
they were.
Of war.
Yeah.
And the only ones that were hardheads were the SS troops that were there, and they didn't commingle.
Yeah, it was...
But my dad had some stories about two guys jumped into a Jeep, two German POWs, jumped into a Jeep and took off, and they were going to escape. And 4 days later, they came back, and he said they couldn't find the end of Texas. It's supposed to be a big country.
Yeah.
Remember that Germany, you can drive across Germany in probably a couple hours.
Right.
Yeah, so they came back voluntarily because they could not find their way out of Texas. So yeah, stories like that.
Well, that's great. Yeah, and oh my gosh, that is just amazing. Little bit of history there.
Yeah.
And to do that, so I was thinking of the 10th Mountain. Even the training, and they had to learn to parachute and things like that, didn't they?
At that time, it was skiing.
It was just
Skiing.
wouldn't they? I thought they parachuted in, and the skiing thing was part because they would drop
Later
them in.
on.
Later on,
They do it now.
yeah.
Later on, there's more specialized troops than they were.
Right.
They were just built for one thing only. In fact, they lost more guys in training than they lost in actual combat taking a pass. But by the time they actually got there, most of the German troops were frozen to death anyway.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, it was still a fight, but they took the pass.
Right.
So and they were trained just for that one operation.
Wow, that's great history. Your dad's no longer with us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff. And stories like that. This is important. Why programs like this happen, because next generations, we want to make sure these stories get out there, so they're a source for people to resource. To understand our history better than a lot of the sources, are skeptical. I open up a lot of books and I'm scratching my head. I go like, what is that? I like it when it comes first person like that. And for you to sit there and, I just, now I'm going to pick your brain probably a lot afterwards, because to think that your dad, as a guard down at those POW camps with those German soldiers.
Well, my mother ended up putting bubble windows on the B-17 bombers when they moved from Texas to California.
Oh, so she was working for Boeing or
Boeing and Lockheed, whoever built the B-17.
Lockheed Vega was in Burbank, and they were building B-17s under contract. But Boeing was the general, and Boeing was down in with Douglas down in Long Beach.
Okay.
So anyway, once again, you got the greatest generation well entrenched in your house there and stuff.
They did instill a sense of duty in us. Yes.
Yeah,
Three sons.
Was your son named Fritz? No. I mean your brother was Fritz. So Guten Tag, Fritz.
He was named after my dad. George Jr.,
all right.
So.
So very cool. All right, so we'll take our first break here, and when we come back, we'll talk about your journey of 1963 and heading overseas to the monsoons, huh?
All right.
Okay, so we'll be right back here with Bob. I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this segment of AV Veterans Talk.